Hey, this is Sunday NFL preview week 10, I think it is. Yeah, it's week 10. And I'm just going to go right down the list and give what I think of each team. Alright, New England Patriots, 5-3. They're going to make the playoffs. There's no question. They're going to win their division. Miami's not going to catch up with them. It's just how far they're going to go in the playoffs. Miami. They had their chance against the Colts last week to really make a statement and missed it. I think that was their chance, so I do not think they're going to make the playoffs. The Jets, they have no shot. Rex Ryan is a horrible coach. Mark Sanchez is a joke. Why aren't they using Tim Tebow? They're not going anywhere without Revis and Holmes. And Buffalo. They had some potential coming into the year, but they just lost it. So, no. Baltimore 6-2. They're one of the stronger teams in the AFC. They could represent the AFC in the Super Bowl, definitely. And Pittsburgh 5-3, one game behind them. Pittsburgh could sneak up on Baltimore potentially for its division, but I don't know. Pittsburgh had a great win against the Giants yesterday. Then there's Cincinnati. They started out the year with lots of potential. They thought they could make it. AJ Green is elite, but they've gone down since then, and I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. They're fighting for their lives right now. And Cleveland, no, I'm not even going to say anything. 2-7. Houston 7-1. They're probably going to have an advantage from our home field throughout the AFC playoffs. And I think they might use all those advantages, meaning they're probably going to get to the Super Bowl. Out of the AFC, they have the strongest team right now. Matt Schaub is playing good. Their defense seems to lose a stud every year, like D'Amico Ryans, Mario Williams, and they still recover, so they're a very good team. Indianapolis, heartwarming story of the year, but they're going to make the playoffs, but as a wild card, but I don't think they'll go anywhere in the playoffs. Then Tennessee 3-6, and Jacksonville, Blaine Gabbert, they're a joke right now. Denver 5-3. I think they'll win the division unless the next team's San Diego at 4-4. I can sneak up on them. I think Oakland had to win last week to stay in it, and they did not. And then Kansas City. I like Kansas City, but not this year. Now for the NFC, we have the Giants at 6-3. They're going to win their division since all the other teams in their division are not good. And I think they can make a deep playoff run again, definitely. Philadelphia, they win last week against New Orleans. No, they lost. Yeah, that was it, I think, for them. They're done after they lost against New Orleans. Dallas at 3-5. They're not going to make the playoffs. Miracles team, but no, they're not going to make the playoffs. And Washington is already 3-6. It would be great if he can come back and maybe give them a playoff run, but he won't. No, they're not going anywhere. They'd have to win their next 7 games to make the playoffs. Chicago 7-1. They could be the strongest team in the NFC potentially. And their defense seems to get better every year as it gets older even. And they're a strong team this year with Brandon Marshall and Jay Cutler. Green Bay 6-3. I feel like this could be a 2010 type year. They go 9-7, 10-6, and they still win. That could definitely happen. Minnesota has been getting worse week by week, and I think that will continue. In a few weeks, they could be 5-6, 5-7. Detroit, I think that 6th seed is their spot to get right now. I feel like they're the team that could definitely make a run at that 6th spot. And Atlanta, the last undefeated team in the league right now. I think they're the best team in the league. Matt Ryan is playing like an elite quarterback. They have Roddy White, Tony Gonzalez, Julio Jones, and everybody. And their defense is definitely solid. And I think they're probably going to be the #1 seed in the NFC unless the Bears continue to win. Then there's Tampa Bay, 4-4. That's a solid team, but I just feel like they're not solid enough to make the playoffs. New Orleans, they're done. They won against the Eagles, big win last Monday, but I don't see them making the playoffs. In Carolina, I don't know. Cam Newton just isn't the same Cam Newton he was last year. Alright, San Francisco. People who hopped on the bandwagon at the beginning of the year is paying off because they are 6-2, and they're looking like a mighty strong team right now. Seattle, I don't think will catch San Francisco in the division, and Arizona's a joke. They lost 5 games in a row. Somehow they started out 4-0. And St. Louis, no, St. Louis isn't going anywhere. And now I'm just going to take a quick look at the matchups and give a quick description of them. Alright, so Indianapolis, Jacksonville already happened. And Giants at Cincinnati. It could be a little meaningful for Giants, just to see if, 7-3, they're pretty elite, 6-4, they're not too elite, but they'll probably make the playoffs. And Cincinnati playing for their lives right now to get into the playoffs, but I say that one goes to the Giants. Tennessee at Miami. This is a pretty bad game. This is Miami's last hope, really. This would be a freebie for Miami if they want to make the playoffs. And I think Tennessee could pull off an upset, but I think Miami will win. Detroit at Minnesota, right? Minnesota has been getting worse each week, but they're at home where they've been very good this year. But I still think Detroit's determined to get that 6th spot, and they're going to beat Minnesota this week. Buffalo at New England. If Buffalo can tighten up on defense, get some long bombs from Fitzpatrick, get CJ Spiller going, they could win this game, but I don't think they will. I think the Patriots' offense is too much, and the Patriots will come away at home. Atlanta at New Orleans. Another week where Atlanta has to play one of those teams that are supposed to be good and isn't, because they played the Cowboys and the Eagles. But I'm going to say that New Orleans will not be able to stop Atlanta. Even in the Superdome, I think Atlanta will come out with a win. San Diego at Tampa Bay. Ooh, this is a good one. I'm going to say, call a little bit of an upset. I think Tampa Bay comes away with this one. I think they're a little underrated. Vincent Jackson's a pretty good quarterback, and I say they win that one. Denver at Carolina. Oof, I'm going to have to go with Denver. I think Cam Newton's a little motivated after beating RG3 and the Redskins, but Denver takes that game. Oakland at Baltimore. Oakland needs a win. Baltimore is trying to win the division. They'll probably want to win, and Baltimore gets that at home. New York Jets at Seattle. Seattle is undefeated at home. The Jets aren't playing well. I say the Seattle are probably going to end the Jets' playoffs hope of that game. Dallas at Philadelphia. If the Giants lose, this is actually a big game. And I feel this one at Philadelphia. I think Dallas is going to pull off this one. Philadelphia is having a little trouble right now getting some wins. With that whole Michael Vick should be starting, should be benching controversy. And I say Dallas wins that one. Right, St. Louis at San Francisco. Yeah, that's not a good game. I'm not watching that. San Francisco will run all over St. Louis. And Chicago at Houston. Ooh, that's a good game right there. At Soldier Field, I think Chicago wins that one and makes a stride to really be one of the top teams in the league. And Kansas City at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's 5-3, Kansas City's 1-7. Kansas City, I think, will have a great game. I think they'll come and play their best, but I think at Heinz Field, Pittsburgh will win that one. And that's the Sunday preview, Week 10.